आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षु श्रोत्रमथो बलमेन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनिर्निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om. May all my limbs attain strength. May the body, mind, sensory and motor organs and the life force become efficient and perfect. All is verily the one without second, absolute, blissful existence itself. Let me never deny this truth of oneness. May this truth never reject me either. May all the virtues necessary to experience this truth in life be with me. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Let us feel what just we were praying, oneness of the blissful existence. Let us feel we are like the ice cubes, looking separate from each other, getting melted, dissolved in the ocean of bliss. The intrinsic oneness is now palpable. There is no I and you. No I and mine. There is no space or time. No desires. Only the intense, blissful, all-pervading awareness or consciousness. There is no possibility of fear, no possibility of anxiety. No possibility of desire and the consequent suffering. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin the 21st class of this very illuminating and instructive Upanisad, Svetasvatara, with our usual prayers. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we attain strength together. May our study make us illumined. May there be no dislike between us. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, during last couple of classes, we were studying the prayers. The prayerful attitude is very important in spiritual life. The surrendering, prayerful attitude that makes us see the oneness. It is a basic requirement. The oneness that the Upanishad teaches is not like that megalomaniac's oneness, that I alone am everything, you guys are nothing. So that is not the oneness that the Upanishad is telling. It tells us to dissolve this ego so that this separation between I and the world vanishes. And this is an essential difference between how a worldly person thinks of oneness, because oneness keeps on propelling us, prompting us, because that is the nature of the truth. But in Maya, in ignorance, these things get just inverted. And thus, instead of eliminating the ego, we start making it big so that I will control everything, I will boss over you, and all such ideas. And they come in the name of oneness, that pan-American or pan-universe, all such things, where the differences are not as such dissolved, but the idea I am the governor of all these varieties. So that is not what the Upanishad wants us to say. It is, and this our prayer for every class, that also stresses this point. It takes us gradually towards it by saying, let us at least feel together. The sense of togetherness is a step towards oneness. That instead of I alone, let it be together. It is thus that ego, I alone, that gets pushed away. One starts feeling the sense of togetherness. Because it is a psychological change that has to come about. It is a transformation. Spiritual life is a transformation of our awareness. The awareness that is glued to I and world. I am so and so, I am this piece of flesh, blood, and so forth. One identifies with it, and then the remaining is the world, that is for my enjoyment. So that kind of attitude is in ignorance. So now, even if you understand that yes, everything is one intellectually, the psyche doesn't immediately get transformed to hold on to that information. We must have experienced it many times, because most of us here, whosoever is present, are very intelligent people. We do not lack intelligence. But the transformation does not happen through intelligence alone. Intelligence may be helpful, but the life changes when the mental vibrations they subside and start actually feeling this truth palpably. And that happens through the prayerful attitude. So therefore all Upanishadic classes begin with the prayer. That is, and all prayers according to the nature of the Upanishads have different ideas strongly presented. This one is the idea of being that one together. It is the sense of togetherness. When we get that sense of togetherness, we have actually advanced. This actual advancement has to happen. So prayer does take that, and thus we see this idea that it is not connecting to VNC. Something wrong, I don't know. It is there is the internet connection, it is showing, but So, anyway, let us hope it comes. So last some classes we were having this prayer to Rudra or God. Rudra was the name, is for any that divine entity that is called Rudra. So that Rudra, may that Rudra grant us this feel of oneness. Let our passions be controlled so that we can feel that presence of Rudra, that may that Rudra reduce this bondage of I and mine. That is how these prayers are. Now, of course, while these prayers are to be paid attention to, they are to be recited, they are to be felt, but they have a slight disadvantage. You may ask how prayers can have any disadvantage. This devotional practices like prayers, they are absolutely important. Please don't take this wrong. But what happens is in these practices, one may tend to get connected to one particular form of God that you are feeling. It is either an external image or a mental form. That is the limitation of our minds. When we are praying, some form of God, some idea, it appears. And thus we keep on praying to that God, forgetting that that is an idea that our mind has construed. And one has to go beyond that. That it is these mental images otherwise can just put us in a box that we will not be able to come out. We get locked in that box, that this is how God is. And so, and it concretizes further that how can God do like this? Why should God do like this? God cannot do like this. As if I dictate to that God, because I have made that box that the God is like this and like this and like this. God is all good. God cannot have any evil there. Okay, these are all our ideas. It is, and thus we get caught in that. So, therefore, while prayers and devotional practices are very, very important, yet one should be very cautious that they do not make us confined to just this mental attitude. That yes, God is like this, like this, like this. God is, this is God, this picture, that's it. So you don't want to see any other picture, or if somebody is worshipping that very divine through another picture or whatever, you don't like it. It becomes such a thing. And so Sri Ramakrishna, his birthday is today. So we had a very nice worship in the morning and so forth. You will be taking prasad on your way out. Anyway, so he used to say that do not confine God. Do not say God is this much. You can have any idea about God. The broadness of Sri Ramakrishna was uncomparably immense, and yet he would say that use whatever way you want to feel God, worship God, but keep this in mind, that do never say that God is just this much. This is God. Don't say, don't limit God in any way. It is he would use the word iti. That means only this much. God is this much, period. Don't think like that. God is all this and much more. It is all that you can think of and more than that. So, therefore, it is in many other Upanishads also, you will see this idea in Ken Upanishad. After the disciple gets a sense of the divine, the teacher tells, well, that is what you have got. The Lord is beyond that. It is not what you are worshipping. God is inside and outside. It is not what you are. God is not confined to what you are worshipping. Again and again that sentence comes. Nedam yadidam upasate. That all that you are worshipping, remember that is not God. God is beyond all this. So, just to make us aware that all spiritual practice is to go beyond these intellectual or emotional boxes that we create for ourselves. We have to see that they have to be broken. These boxes are helpful, but to get to the substance, you have to break open those boxes, get out of the boxes. So, Swami Vivekananda, there is a beautiful poem of his, very powerfully worded poem, and it is there he says, and break all other idols, break all other images of God, that you worship that all-pervading entity and break all other idols. This breaking of the idols is very important, that we do not get confined to that. Use the images. It is please do not get me wrong. Use all that, but do not get confined to that. It is very good to use one tool, but do not get tied to that tool. When some other tool is necessary, you should be ready to drop that tool and take another one. It was necessary for you to use a wrench to get something done, so you were using the wrench, but then that job is done. Now you have to take some other tool. So put down the wrench and use something else that is necessary there. So this is the idea that is being presented here, that Tatah Param, this is the 7th verse that you are seeing on the screen. Tatah Param Brahma Param Brihantam Yatha Nikayam Sarva Bhuteshu Gudham Vishwasyekam Pariveštitaram Isham Tam Jnatva Amrita Bhavanti. This word Tatah Param means higher than this personal Brahman is the infinite supreme Brahman, who is concealed in all beings according to their bodies, and who, though remaining single, envelops this whole universe. Knowing him to be the Lord, one becomes immortal. Tatah Param, that's beyond, higher than this personal Brahman. It is whenever we feel or think, it becomes personal. Mm. Because my thoughts are not Vishwanath's thoughts or Paul's thoughts or Vittal's thoughts. It is everybody, each of you have your thoughts. So if God is made by my thought, we will have a limited God that is only mine. It is not that it will not be universal. Remember, we have to use that. That God is to be used, but should not get caught in that that is all that is. It is, Swami Vivekananda mentions time and again that these devotional practices can lead to a fanatic thought that God is such and such. Only God can be worshipped with a flute on the lips and dancing with that peacock feathers in the hat or in the hair, whatever. So that is the only form of God. Well, it is good you worship that form, wonderful, but don't think that that is the only way of worshipping. There are, God is beyond these mental constructs. So, this is what is presented here. Tata param, Brahma param brihantam. It is the infinite supreme Brahman. Go higher. And in Sri Ramakrishna's that great life, an incident comes. It is that he was being told by that Totapuri, a teacher in non-dual Vedanta, and he so attached to nothing in this world but to Divine Mother. When this sage asked him, are you ready to learn the practices of non-dual Vedanta? You seem to be the most qualified aspirant to do it. Sri Ramakrishna replies, I don't know anything what I will do or not. Let me ask my mother. I have to ask my mother. And then he said, okay, then ask your mother. And when he saw Sri Ramakrishna entering the temple of Mother Kali there, he thought, well, all superstition and so forth. But then he was wonderstruck when he came back and told Totapuri that my mother said, yes, that is why I have brought him here, to teach you this. So his training began under this teacher, and this teacher said, okay, concentrate the mind on the absolute truth beyond all forms and all attributes. Now, that great pure mind of Sri Ramakrishna, it did not get stuck in any form or attribute that human beings normally would get stuck to. It just went beyond all that in a jiffy, not even a second, a millisecond, and his mind went beyond all these forms. But then got stuck at one place, the form of Mother Kali. He had been worshipping that form with tremendous love. One can imagine what kind of love, what kind of adoration he had for Divine Mother. With that adoration he was holding that form of Divine Mother. So that form manifested before him. And then that was preventing him from soaring into the what his teacher was telling, the attributeless truth. Attribute means that which is an extraneous constraint on it. Like your clothings, it is like this Prasanna has put on a particular maroon color this sweatshirt. So it would be wrong to say that Prasanna is this maroon shirt, that is her, she is this shirt. No, that is not that, it is wrong. So, similarly to think of, that is called attribute, upadhi. So, our physical features, they are upadhis, means they are extraneous things added, like clothing. Body is clothing, so it is like this person is like this. Oh well, because it is in this clothing of the body, it looks like this. That yes, Prithvish looks like this, he has such eyes and such hair and all this. So these become identification marks of him because he has put on this. Like we say, hey, that in the big group somebody is looking for somebody, that, oh, where do I find Jim? Oh, well, do you see that red shirt there? That is Jim. Okay, so you can, it is useful to find Jim. Okay, but that is not Jim. Next time it will come, that Jim will come with maybe some white shirt. And so you may say, well, he is not Jim because there is no red shirt. That would be what, Vitthal, right? No, that would be certainly wrong. It is. So, upadhis, they are extraneous and they are subject to change. Like that story Swami Sardanandaji used to tell, that it is one man bought some this thing, some sweet meat from a shop, and then the shop was just opening, so he didn't have change. He said, well, after a few customers come, change, I will get change, then I will give you back your change. Come after, say, an hour or so. This man was already had a little too much of drink. So he said, okay, fine, and then went away. I will come after some time. And then after about half an hour, a quarrel, a big fight started in a barber's shop nearby. This fellow had gone to the barber's shop because he said that, well, it was you who told me that I will give you the change after some time. The barber was saying, oh, well, I never took this money, you never came here. What do you mean you never came? You may be telling me, see, I am very intelligent man. I kept a mark right in front of your shop. The bull who was sitting there, on Indian streets you see those cows, bulls, that goats, they all sit there. So I saw that bull was the mark. I had marked your shop. Which shop? Exactly where the bull is sitting. Now while this fellow was going away, the bull also thought, let me change my place. So went and sat in front of the barber's shop. That is called upadhi. It is. So it is like this, that we confine the God with upadhis. That is how it is called in Sanskrit, Saguna Brahma, the personal God. So this personal God is very good and very important. Like your clothing is very important. But to get confined to that clothing is not right. Yeah, otherwise you will have to go with the same clothing for everything. Whether you are coming to Vedanta class, or whether you are going for wedding ceremony, whether you are going for swimming, or whether you are going for sleeping, it will be terrible, you say. So God also should be, you should worship God with attributes. But remember that they are attributes. So this is the idea, tata param. Remember that it is beyond that. This part is many times forgotten by the devotees. It is, and thus one becomes fanatic that, well, God is like this. God gave me a vision in that form. What do you mean? I saw that God came to me riding on a big bull. So that is my idea of God. It is, and if somebody sees, then says, no, 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 God is has come to me playing flute on his lips and was like a small child. No, no, you are wrong. You are wrong. Come on. So let us settle the dispute by unsheathing our swords, and yeah. So that then becomes no religion, then it is only I and mine. So one should be very cautious about this. So that is why this idea is told. Also another reason is there, that it is the comfort zone. Once you get in it, the mind does not want to get out from there. We are all having this inertia, psychological inertia. Each of us have that inertia. As the age advances, this inertia becomes more and more, the physical as well as psychological. I was talking to one lady yesterday, not yesterday, before, and then she told that she goes to now a gym and has a trainer. She has, that got a trainer for that, and this trainer makes her sit down and stand up, sit down and stand up. She said, I told the trainer, you are a young man, you can do it. I could be, I am as old as would be your grandmother. Why should you, no, no, he said, you could be my grandmother, but I am your trainer. So, so I have to do that for you. Come on. And she said after about a year or so, she felt so good. It is, otherwise, she said, if I sit in the chair, coming out of the chair is a problem. It is, if I am standing, then going and sitting is a problem. The change of position becomes a problem. So, that is how it is very important that we should not get stuck in that inertiatic, psychological inertia, that only this much God, that's it. No, dear, get out of it. Get out of your comfort zone. This is a very famous idea, you know that. Can you read that? Uh, okay, you read aloud. Yeah.
Don't believe what your eyes tell you. All they show is limitation. Look with your understanding. Find out what you already know, and you'll see the way to fly. Richard Bach from Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
It's a very nice, very inspiring book. I tell many to read that. Did you read Vittal finally? Okay, good, good. It is, it is very inspiring book, very educative. That yes, small book, but see, you know, you have to soar high. Every stage that inertia is there. This seagull was being laughed at by all other seagulls just because it was just interested in flying, not interested in picking all those food items thrown by people around and fighting with other seagulls about over them and all such things, just hovering over the ocean or these waters. That was no fun. It is, I must fly, I must go beyond, I must soar higher and higher heights. I must explore those regions. And then he found, as he did like that, all of them, all the other seagulls, his family, his parents, Jonathan's parents said, no, no, please don't do like this. After all, we are seagulls. We are not eagles, we are seagulls. So we are not meant to fly like that. It is so. This is our life, and like us, you know, you make most of it, get maximum out of this. So this becomes a common human psychology that after all we are not saints. Are we saints or not? Yes, good. Exactly. Good, Vishwanath. Thank you. There is somebody who can confidently say, we are saints. We are saints. Potentially, for sure, if we have to just express it, and one has to strive for expressing that. So one has to come out of this, these limitations that I have tied myself with. No, I have to do this. No, I must do this. I can. No, no. You know, it is that is a stepping stone. Okay, good. Go beyond that. It is, and since that takes efforts, going up, working against gravity, remember, it takes efforts. Going down, does it take efforts? No, you don't need to put a motor to push the water down. To raise it up, well, you require motor. So that is how our life also. To take it at the higher level, to take it beyond these pursuit of the sense objects, you have to push it, give it a push. Otherwise, we remain confined to our particular tastes, likes, dislikes, and so forth. And then, even if somebody tries to inspire, oh, come on, do this. No, I don't want. Isn't it Vittal? That happens. No, you have to learn. No, I have to go beyond these limitations. It is tough to remain where I am. That is all very easy. And that is the natural thing, that this law of least resistance, as they say, least resistance, that is the natural law in engineering and all this, that the nature takes the course of least resistance. So nature goes down and drags us down. A human being, as Swami Vivekananda says, a man is man as long as he struggles to conquer nature. See, and I tell this many times because I heard it from my professor long back when I was in college. In our chemistry class, he told this, and that was a very good eye opener. And so I repeat that in many of my lectures, that in this hall you cannot find a single thing which has come directly to you from nature. Not a single object. Think of anything here. It is not given by nature as it is. You may say all this wood, no. How much processing? The trees did not get all this wood just like this. See how many these different types of saws and polishing and chemical treatments, they have gone into it. So much of chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, mathematics, trigonometry has gone into this. See those boards, acoustic boards behind you. How much engineering has gone into making these? Imagine, a common pen that you use, like Girish is writing with a pen. So maybe for 50 cents or so you buy that pen. How much engineering has gone into that? Imagine, making that metal ball, small ball, so that only that much little of the ink comes out. It is so when you put it in your pocket, the ink does not spray onto your pocket. See that making that tiny ball, it is a miracle in a way in engineering advancement. It was not possible say about 50-60 years to make that kind of small ball point. I am old enough to tell you that it is when I was using these ball pens, they were terrible, not that good at all. It is because it undergoes so much of, and you buy it just for 50 cents. You do not know how much effort has gone into it. It is all struggle against nature. One has to struggle against nature. In fact, Swami Vivekananda defines life by this. Yeah, what a great definition of life. Life is that which fights to be itself, to preserve itself against all the oppressing forces of nature. In spite of that, it tries to go beyond that. That is life. When we succumb to nature, we are not alive, and nature brings us down. This is also, if you see the thermodynamical definition of life given by Erwin Schrödinger, if you see his nice book, that what is life? What is life? This wave mechanics great physicist, he has given many lectures on this. and they were compiled later to give this physicist view of what life is. So he says life is that which feeds on negative entropy. A very beautiful term of in engineering. Entropy is a kind of a measure of disorder. Nature tends to propagate disorder. Everything will become disorderly without making any effort. What happens, Vittal, if you do not organize your things or your parents don't organize your things in 1 week? What will happen? It will be a mess. Yeah. It will be a big mess. Do you have to put in any effort to make mess? No. But to organize? Efforts have to be put in. So, the entropy increases automatically, disorder increases automatically. To bring order means to consume that entropy, you need life. Life creates these highly organized systems, you see. So this is life, to consume this, and that requires efforts, and that is what is needed. Get out of this inertiatic attitude that okay, it is enough, I am not after all a saint. Well, then become one. If you are one, fine. If you are not, then become one. You are potentially a saint. Each being is potentially a saint because God is in all of us. So who is not a saint? Everybody is potentially a saint. So you have to bring that out, that's all. That I remember that nice signboard in front of the one photo studio in Nagpur. In my school days, I used to see that and laugh at that. Very nice signboard. Those were not the days where you have the automatic and cell phone cameras. Everybody taking. It is millions of pictures, you see. So those days, it was a very specialized job. And then that studio said, if you are beautiful, we will capture your beauty. If you are not, we will make you one. So it is like that if I am saint, fine. If I am not, well, become. It is, yes, the scriptures, the teachers, see, they will make us saints if we follow in their footsteps. So let us have this determination. It requires this determination. I will do it. What do you mean? I have received the blessings from the teacher and I will do what the teacher has told me to do. I will do my meditations more and more intensely, more and more regularly. I will not succumb to the pulls of the natural attractions and aversions and whims. So, this is something that this Jonathan Livingston Seagull does there. He got the advice from the teacher that don't don't believe what your eyes tell you. Eyes only show you that this is the limit. But you have to go beyond the limit. It's a nice statement, I like. The eyes only show the line there, that this is the box. Now, break through the box. And that is where the glory of human mind is, to break through this box and get to those heights of spiritual realization, friends. So, this is the prayer, this is the understanding that one has to develop. Then it says this, then you realize this truth that Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamasah Parastat Tameva Viditvati Mrityumeti Nanyah Pantha Vidyate Yanaya. These lines were made very popular by Swami Vivekananda, that in the Parliament of Religions and elsewhere he quoted this verse from Svetasvatara Upanisad. It comes in Purusha Suktam and many other texts as well. So it says, I have realized this great being who shines effulgent like the sun beyond all darkness. One passes beyond death only on realizing him. There is no other way of escape from the circle of births and deaths. This is that being beyond all, beyond all darkness. Beyond all darkness. See, whatever we see requires darkness. Our eyes cannot see light. It sees actually light obstructed by something. That is, there has to be darkness, you say. So you have to go beyond normal vision to get to that light which is beyond all darkness, that self-effulgent being. Today's time is almost over. We don't have much time to discuss this idea, very important idea, that what is the meaning of beyond all darkness, that being which is beyond all darkness. Where is that being? What is the meaning of beyond all darkness? These are very important ideas, friends, that, and we shall try to discuss these in the subsequent, that is coming Friday. We will have those classes, that discussion on that class. We will meditate for 30 seconds, and in case if you have questions, feel free to ask. Yes, please. Yes, Charlie.
The Bhagavad Gita says that one person in 1,000 who makes the attempt will get there. So how can we have confidence that we can all become saints?
Make an attempt. Be one in the 1,000. Who told you that? I tell that incident. It was so illustrative. That one devotee in a car we were going and asked this question to me. Say exactly that Bhagavad Gita says that one amongst many thousands makes an attempt, and amongst many who make attempt, one may succeed. So, manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. So, before I could collect my thoughts and give a reply, another man in the car, he gave a very succinct one-line reply, and I can't forget that so nicely. He said, well, yes, they say that your chances of winning a lottery are only marginally reduced even if you don't buy a ticket. What a great reply, So, exactly, and since how many buy lottery tickets? even though your chances of that winning are marginally reduced, even if you don't buy the ticket. It is exactly. So be one in a million. Why shall I not be one in a million? Give me a reason that why will I not be one in million? There is no reason. Why will I not win the lottery ticket? People buy lottery tickets thinking that, well, one in a million will win, but who knows? I could be that one. There is no reason that I will not be that one. So, yes, you can tell this Charles is going to be one. Moreover, that is just a lottery. This is an assurance. Whosoever wants will get it. Yameva esha vrinate tena labhyah tasyaisha atma vivrinate tanum swam. What a great assurance from this Kathopanishad, that it is. Yes, this comes also in Mundaka Upanishad, because so important, So, that whosoever aspires sincerely for this self, yameva esha vrunate tena labhya, that person gets it in the sense that the self unveils itself for this person who aspires for it. Moreover, to get connected to that great tradition of sages, great tradition of Sri Ramakrishna, it means you are practically assured of it. If you hold on to that, Mundaka Upanishad tells it very clearly. Very clearly. If you hold on to that tradition, do you listen, Subhashish? Are you listening? Yeah. So, if you hold on to that, you will surely realize. Mundaka Upanishad says, Nasnat tasya abrahmavit kule bhavati, that you realize this truth, and then in your clan, in your lineage, there will be no one who is not a knower of Brahman. Everyone in your lineage will realize it. And lineage does not mean biological or genetic lineage here, it means the spiritual lineage. Lineage means, Shankaracharya explains there that we have kula, means lineage is of two types. One is the biological lineage and other is the knowledge lineage, jnana kula. So, when you are connected to that source of knowledge, then you will, if you are connected to that line properly, like you see all these lights, they are lighted. Now, through various different types of connections, somehow this wire is connected to the source of power. Many transformers, many different grades, and so now this connection, if this connection is intact, then when you put on the switch, the lights will come. If the connection is not right, broken, then it will not light. When sometimes somewhere that storm happened, not here, but we lost the power. What happened? No, that somewhere a big overhead high tension line, a tree fell on it, and so all these will not have power. So, Somewhere there, if even if there is a break somewhere, well, the power will not be there. So, if we are properly connected to the line, to the lineage, it will connect us to Sri Ramakrishna, and we will get that. Remember Naomi, huh? Yeah. There will be no one in that lineage who will be a Brahmavet, who will not realize the Brahman. Uh, got my point?
What about Mathur Baba? He
Huh?
Mathur, he
He, because he was not holding on to lineage perfectly, he had other things also, you see. So, uh, and he would realize it gradually, because Sri Ramakrishna did not rule it out, but he said this birth he had lot of those desires left, so he must have become born as a king somewhere to fulfill those and get kicked around by those. Then he would get into his senses and then continue the practice. So that is what happens to us. So it is, but if you are holding on to that lineage, mm, exactly. Okay, okay. Please read aloud.
How is there darkness behind light?
Huh?
How is there darkness behind light?
How is the darkness behind light or light behind darkness?
The question is framed as how is darkness behind light?
How is darkness behind these lights that we see, that I was mentioning about? Yeah, that it is. If it is only light, there is no perception of it. It is just blinding. You don't see anything. What the eyes can see. It happens, when you are driving and a car with floodlights is coming right, and those eyes are those. It is a blinding thing. You don't see anything, because you need the darkness to separate that light. So there is the darkness uh, with which the light gets interspersed, and thus you see different forms. So what you see is the obstruction of light through certain things, and that makes us see. Only light is not that visible, so to say. It is only light is not visible. It is, you need darkness to see the light. So that is what I was referring to. But now what he is going to tell us is the light. And that light, one has to go beyond darkness to get to that light. So that light is not a matter of seeing by these eyes. That is a very nice topic, really, that what can see that light, where does it come from, and so forth. That beyond darkness, light beyond darkness. Not, I didn't use the words, I don't think, that darkness beyond light. Yeah. Okay then, we shall conclude with the closing this thing, prayers. You are all invited to attend the Sri Ramakrishna's birthday ceremony on 10th, day after tomorrow. It is from 11 to 7. You can come for the whole program, or whatever part you feel you can, please come for that. And there is the spiritual retreat coming up on March 23rd, and those who would like to attend should register for that. I had planned to speak on 2 more verses today, but Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.